On Yoursaltwaterguide.com. This is Captain Dave Hansen, and today we're going to talk a little bit about advanced lobster hooping now that we're in full swing lobster season. I'm not sure when you're watching this, but this is a question I'm getting asked a lot, and this needs to be addressed. So, how do we approach our hoop nets? Here's what I do, and I drive a lot of really big boats for hoop netting, but I do it in 25, 30 feet of water, and I'm on 65-foot Viking or 65-foot Hatteras or 44 Pacifica, 46-foot Bertram. And the way that I've figured it out, and now I do it this way on my skiff, I do it this way on any boat I'm on, I always approach the hoop nets from my stern. Always, always, always. Why? Because you know how the flare of the bow of your boat, when you're driving up on it forward, first of all, you can't shoot it with the spotlight because you're blinded by the spotlight when it bounces off the water and ricochets back at you. If you have any isinglass or if you have any windows on your boat or anything, you really can't see forward. It's almost impossible. I spin the boat around and I back up to my hoop nets, always. On your 20-foot Wellcraft or on a 65-foot Viking, I always back up to the buoys. Then what I do is I look at the buoy. If you look, they're round and they have conical shaped in the front of the buoy going down to the hoop net. That's how you set them up. If you watch my how to set up your hoop net video. So that being said, I turn the boat around, I hit the hoop net buoy with the spotlight. That shows me which way the rope is running into the water, because it could be, you can't even imagine, there's times where the wind's blowing but the buoy line is going the opposite way. That being said, I always have two spotlights. I have one on the charger the whole night, and I have one that I'm using. If that one that I'm using starts to get dim or starts to not work, then I grab the one that's been on the charger all night. It's never come off the charger. I simply plug in the one I've been using, grab the one that's on the charger, because it's super important to have a spotlight so you can shine it on the buoy so you can see which way the rope is going off the buoy. This is going to stop you from getting the line caught in your propeller. And I know you've all had, I don't care who you are. You could be hoop netting your whole life. I guarantee you've gotten the line stuck in your propeller. I do not care. And if you say you haven't, you're probably not telling the truth. So I back up every time I see which way the rope's going. I move the back of the boat around so that I can back straight up to it. Here's how I do it. Because at that last second when it goes behind the boat there and you can't see the buoy line, at that last second, that's the most crucial time, because that's when you could still get it in the propellers. So I tell whoever is back there with the boat hook or the gaff, we like to use a gaff, but you might use a boat hook, to tell me when you have the line on the hook. The moment I hear you say, I got it, I simply bump the boat in forward. Not drive full speed, just put it in forward so the boat's moving forward a tiny bit. That's going to wash that rope out from underneath the boat. You're not going to get it caught in the propeller. And then I have whoever's pulling the hoop net stay in one corner or the other corner. And I'll step there with the spotlight shining on the rope so I can see if it's going underneath the boat or not. This is going to save you a ton of stress. You're not going to ever get your lines caught in the propeller. If you approach them from your stern, always, I don't care if you have one motor, if you have 10 motors, always back into your buoys. Always back into your buoys. It's going to change this whole thing with hoop netting. Always back into your buoys. Always go in reverse. The moment you grab it, just kick the boat forward a tiny bit. Then when the hoop net comes up, we simply dump it, shake it upside down so that the lobsters get off the net. Grab the lobsters, measure them real quick. The legal ones go on the boat, the short ones go over the side. The net goes immediately back into the water if it has lobsters in it. Why? Because they're crawling right there on that spot. So you want to get it back in the water as quick as possible. We shake it out. Two guys are measuring while the other guy's throwing the net back in the water. You want to make sure that you get the legal lobsters in your bait tank and the short lobsters off your boat as quickly as possible. You do not want to have any short lobsters crawling around. That's why we try to put them right straight into a bucket when we shake them out of the net, and then measure them from the bucket and dump the shorts over the side immediately. You do not want to be in possession of any short lobsters. That's a horrible, horrible fine. You do not want that fine. So that being said, remember, constantly always back into your buoys. Watch where the rope's going. Make sure that you're not backing over the rope. But that conical part of the buoy will tell you exactly where your rope's going at all times. Hopefully this helps everybody to be more proficient when you're out there lobster fishing. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my spots videos, what are you doing? If you look at the fish reports, all the guys that are going where I tell them to go are catching limits of lobsters. Why do you want to try to figure it out on your own? That's the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard of in my life. I want you all to be successful. I give you everything you need to be successful. Go out there, catch a bunch of lobsters, have a good time. Please leave a report. Let us know. Thanks.